some new intro music there. That's a lot of fun. How
Aggressive for
are
an aggressive day.
Yeah, aggressive for an aggressive day. How are we? It's the Community Rip Live right here on Stocktwits. New time, 1 p.m. now on the East because Nick, you're not in the East. You're in the middle of the country. But 1 p.m. on the East, right here, Stocktwits. It's the Community Rip Live. It's your boy Ben with Gautam, with Nick, Jfdi, Gpaisa, and Bags. You will respectively know us by on the Twitterverse and the Stocktwits. But guys, let's pull up this chart. I mean, we've kind of got a little bit of an aggressive action in the market, selling us down a little bit more today. But yesterday on our YouTube show, we discussed some scenarios, and there's that chart. And I've got the daily pulled up here. I don't like the daily, but it shows that pivot that we drew. I don't know back when, and a failure of the daily 50 moving average. Nick, is it pearl clutching time?
Uh, the way the way I'm looking at the cues, and both I guess the indices in their entirety. What I like about them is that we're range bound and that we didn't actually make a new high, so we can't we wouldn't be considering this like a breakout failure. We didn't try to break out of the range. We're just still range bound. Frustrating as it is. Um, GP pointed out kind of the potential for the inverse head and shoulders to kind of build out here, which I think is a definite possibility. The fact that we didn't make a new high and then fail and revert back into the range puts me in the camp that I don't think we're going to be actually heading back to retest the lows per se, or at the very least, like undercut those lows. I think we should kind of remain range bound. I did draw some fibs this morning, just looking from the most recent low to high, and where price is sitting at. We're basically sitting at the 50% from high to low in the queues, anyways. If we took out like the 0.618 is sitting at 599. Um, it's tough to you've got to respect the price action and allow your trail stops to work, but at the same time, I think that I don't know. All you can really do is kind of take it a day at a time. I think if we did take out the 0.618, I'd be like, shit, maybe we are going to go back and retest the lows. At least the lows of this range, which would be, kind of we talked about a little bit yesterday. If you zoom out to kind of the weekly time frame, it's kind of like, that really wouldn't look that bad. Like, or if we even retested, let's say 590, which would be kind of it'd be testing kind of the rising trend line there. The rising 30 week is right there. So Weinstein traders would probably be all over it if they were. It would be the first retest. It'd be the first retest or touch of the 30 week since essentially the kind of tariff shake in April. So I mean, the price action too. Looking at the mag names, like I again mentioned pre-show, I threw Microsoft and Amazon on this morning as day trades. I wasn't not necessarily trying to swing them. It's weird, and I think the semi is kind of what's putting the most pressure on the market. Nvidia is obviously weak, and then just looking at the SMH kind of taking a beating. So the difference between like the SMH and like the Qs is like you can see that we kind of made a slightly newer high and then reverted back. So I don't like when that happens. I always feel like when you have a breakout failure or kind of like the undercut and rally, it's the same idea where I feel like if we break out and fail, there's a good chance we're going to head back to test the low of that range rather than just kind of fluttering within the range. Yeah, so there's the possibility of a higher low, but SMH just kind of looks and has been looking a little bit grosser to me. Obviously, we took out the 50-day today. Um, and then we have the gap basically back on, what was that, September 18th. That's kind of your high volume candle, along with the lows, which is the 21st of November. Both of those kind of are in the same, basically the same zone. Like the low of the 1121 candle kind of tests the September 18th candle. So I would imagine if you have like one of the volume shelf profiles, I would imagine there's a pretty decent volume shelf there.
Hey, GP, you were just telling Arson in the chat that we're dead. Is the were you meaning we did start the show, or are you meaning that we're actually dead?
Market's dead. We're done.
Oh my God. Well,
We're
we
done
we should
today.
have a service. We should be having bereavement right now and grieving the loss of our friend. And please go tell us more.
So bring up the SPX. You still have GP's level on there?
Yeah, GP's wet blankie 67.38, 67.40.
And so what's that yellow moving average there?
That's the 50.
That's the 50.
67.49.
So if you draw a trend line from the bottom of the 1010 candle and go wick up across the wicks, where do we end up?
Across the wicks like that?
No, going diagonally.
Oh, a trend line.
Keep going on the wicks. Yep.
Right there. Yep.
Right. And now if you draw that as a channel.
Oh my God!
Candle,
don't get me started on drawing channels, GP. You're just talking dirty today.
From the top of the 1010 candle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 6740 level we talked about back in July, I believe, tagged it, reversed harder than most gangsters. And then we came back to kind of retake it on 1121, and someone said, I have a cold, and we went down, reversed 3% on the pivot high, poke above, and death. And then we had the highest volume in the SPY since April 4th, and the Qs as well. So we literally just tagged that exact same level. It was 67.38. And so what I'd like to see here the market do, obviously we have patterns and biases and all that other stuff, but the reality is this was resistance and has been resistance since September, right? As soon as we pulled into that level, October 10th, we just had the reversal candle. We took out 5 weeks in one day. So that what was resistance became resistance again in November. Now what we need to see is it to become support, right? And so far today, we tagged it nearly to the penny, and we aren't bouncing. So I'm not saying we're out of the woods. What I'm saying is we need to see bulls step in and through from here to create that inverse head and shoulder. But if we lose this pivot, this is a really intense pivot point here. We're dead, right? Like that's just it. We're going straight to zero.
So just to clarify one thing, GP, you're calling this like a bastardized head and shoulders, basically, right? Inverted head and shoulders. That is what.
Why? Yeah. Because of where the volume showed up, right?
Yeah. I'm just making sure, because when we were looking at the SMH, like I could draw a pretty easy one right here too, but that means this comes in just a little bit lower. And if yours is true, right, we're right at that pivot, which your channel and this pivot that we've drawn previously would indicate that it's got to stick here and bounce here, or yes, womp womp womp.
Yeah, like if the way the market is, because it's fun to be in this market, so much fun. is that not only did it create an inverse head and shoulder, but gave you the benefit of the doubt by creating a head and shoulders as well. Um, I think based on volume, it's inverse head and shoulders, characteristics, etc. But if it's not and it's a head and shoulders, and everyone poo-poos it, but when they work, they really work.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind that if it's not inverse head and shoulders and I got that wrong, that my bias has gotten the best of me, which also is the conversation of rotation. As you can see today, Microsoft, Meta are stronger. The ones that were beaten up, the rotation out of other mega caps, Google, um, Nvidia, etc.
I was just talking about Amazon yesterday, right? I mean, that's not that it's up crazy or anything, but
Netflix too.
yes,
Right.
you
So
talked about Netflix. I
there's I have a lean towards my bias being bullish because of how the rotation is piecing out. But if we start losing these levels, there's no saving it, right? Like they will like Meta and Microsoft are bouncing, but they are in a struggle zone. I believe Meta is still under the 200 SMA, right? And Microsoft is hanging out right at the 200 SMA. So if these
Well,
were
let's look.
just
You said Meta. Yes, Meta is under. Microsoft is right at basically at it yesterday. What hit it and undercut and
right,
went. Yep.
so like as bullish as I can be, these have had mean reversion bounces from rotation in Google, but if these bounces fail, then this acceleration to the downside gets gets ugly, and it gets ugly really really quick, right? And you'll know, right? We break this level today, um, or tomorrow or this week, it could get really ugly. Um, IWM's failure, Tesla's failure, um, all this stuff is kind of showing you other tea leaves, so that it's a mixed bag in general. But if we hold, we get our little Santa rally, which is what I think we're gonna get. But Santa rally, mind you, is not in December. It is the last 5 days of December and the first 2 days of January. So you can get a obliteration and then get the Santa rally and still call it a Santa rally, even though
I'm going
you're
to
down.
stop calling it a Santa rally. I'm going to call it a Boxing Day rally. Is what I'm going to call it. It's an after Santa has come rally.
Yeah.
Hey, Lex Trading's here with us. Good to see you, Lex. Good to see you, Arson. Always Randy and Trader Ty. Thanks, chat, for chiming in. Lex said, Chief, this is where the 100 SMA is. The trend line also held the last pullback in November. So I'm guessing Lex is a little bulled up, but I've got the Tesla chart up here for a reason. And all I saw Monday and yesterday were all the Tesla bulls just basically having too much fun with their own little tassels. So happy. And GP, are you ready to call this a failure?
On what?
Well, you said it was a failure. You said those aren't my words.
Sorry. So yes, Tesla failed the breakout, right? It immediately failed the breakout, but it retested the pivot. So let's see how it closes today. Um, yeah, it just the trading of what Tesla used to be is just not the same anymore, right? Like it's it's not driven by, I don't know, institutions buying or whatever. It is all driven by options flow. And yesterday you couldn't find a single option flow that wasn't bullish, and they were selling puts, buying calls, and just couldn't. And it only managed 3% on all of that. It only managed 3%. We have yet to get any expansion day in Tesla. Yes, it's gone from our conversations from 330 all the way to 495, but none of that has come on the back of what is typically a Tesla expansion. And Tesla expansions are 10% plus candles, always have been, always will be. And until we get that, Tesla is still in this chop kind of options zone, kind of whatever you want to call. You gotta pay attention to the flow every single day to know where the direction is, right? And So right now it's a failure. It's holding the pivot from the failure, and now that pivot needs to become support and go higher. So,
Hey, Nick, what happens on a false move?
A fast move.
Ooh, the other way, right?
yeah, and it looks like it's
I
going to, right? Because
yeah,
the flow is not great today in Tesla.
I'm certainly looking at it very similarly. Like, as of right now, Tesla's just an inside candle at least on the daily. Yeah, larger picture, definitely failed to hold above that 488. I think you could probably use the 10-day EMA as your guide right now. It's kind of curling up to like the gap low, so it's like if it loses that, just
462 ish.
yeah, cut it. And I think if Tesla fails here, along with just kind of the broader market, kind of going actually back to the SPX, I was kind of picking it apart a little bit as GP was talking about it, and I kind of see like a somewhat of a head and shoulders build out too. And basically, like we already snapped the neckline, and so when you kind of think
Sorry,
about it,
Nick. Sorry, Nick. Which one did you say? Where are we going?
the SPX,
Okay, sorry. There you
just looking at it, that what bar was that? The November 20th bar, that basically already snapped the neckline in this kind of like sideways or whatever you want to call it, like head and shoulders. So it wouldn't really take much, I don't think, to see continuation to the downside. The measured move in a head and shoulders pattern is the distance from the head to the neckline, and then you measure it out from basically where the neckline breaks. So that would basically be saying if this does play out, um, that brings back to like 63, basically between 63 and 6,400 on the SPX. The 200 is not far off at 6,200. The 0.618 from the all-time high breakout back in, what is that, June, is also at the 0.618. So I don't know. So it's like to kind of like fast forward to like Tesla, it's like, is this gonna, if it pulls back into that range, I don't think there's any reason to be involved there. Maybe at least on a shorter term swing basis, that's for sure.
go. So I'm hearing a lot of realist bearishness from you guys, and I'm not disagreeing. So where's your flight to safety? Where do you go? What do you do? Just be cash money?
I think as
Are you buying
how do-
puts? Like, are you going short? Like what?
Metals,
I'm not going to be
metals,
short, but metals. Yeah, I'm already in silver.
metals.
I'm already in silver. That's pretty much what's working for me right now. I also have like USAS and pass on. But Synaptric in the chat kind of mentioned where were they? I think he pointed out NEM and a couple of the other miners.
Newmont. Yep.
Newmont. I mean, gold looks, I think, phenomenal here. Like, I think it's setting up for like a leg to 5,000. I mean, intermediate, I think it's going to 450, but I think 500 is going to act as a magnet as well. Just, I don't know. Psychologically, we take out 400. I think we're going to go to 500.
Gold is wild. It is
Yeah.
absolutely wild, but looks great. Silver, even wilder. I caught that breakout yesterday, Nick. Oh, it is saving my butt today. That's for sure. And gold, I've been holding this long since Jesus. It's been a while now. It's a good thing the contracts are for March, but I just, it's the metals have been my saving grace because as Jim Cramer would say, there's always a bull market somewhere. And dude, these are like even copper, which is its retarded cousin. Um, it's acting. Sorry, yeah, Ben, you don't like that word. I get that.
I don't. Yeah,
Uh,
I can
mentally
put up with a lot
challenged
of
cousin.
shit, but I don't go there anyway.
Okay, mentally challenged cousin.
That's okay.
Uh, yeah. Anyway, uh, uh, even
Sorry.
copper looks pretty good. I love if you look at copper, look at the yearly candle. It is it it is kind of gorgeous. Yeah, and like I'm allocated to copper, which is also via Rio. We talked about Rio Tinto. Bullish engulfing on the year, 17 years inside
Yeah.
the GFC candle with a bullish engulfing on a year. I love this. It will not be fast. It is not a fast mover. But build, you get about 5% dividend while you hold if you buy around here. Um, that's my position. I'm not telling you to buy. It's not financial advice. It's just what I
Yeah,
think.
Shu, thanks for being here, Shu. We always appreciate you joining in. He asked, "We're bearish now." I'm not bearish.
No. Yeah.
I mean, I think what the guys are talking about is reality of what the charts are showing. But I think long term, we all expect prices to be higher. We're just in a pocket of volatility. I still got money to put to use. I mean, I've bought every day except for today over the last 4.5 sessions, basically. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Maybe there's some truth somewhere in between. But no, I'm
My
not. I'm not
I'm
bearish.
I'm not bearish until we start losing levels, right? Sure, you got to trade both sides, right? Like you're a trader, you know this for sure. I think what what I've believed for a couple of weeks now is that you have this massive Japan rate decision coming tomorrow night, and we have been deleveraging into that decision for the last month and change. And when that decision comes, we may get a wick lower and then reverse higher, right? Much higher. And we actually get to break out of this level. That's what I think's going to happen. But short term, we can still go like this. SPX can drop another 100 points from here. It doesn't mean like it's bearish overall, but it's short term stuff, right? And we're talking about short term moves here.
Yeah, I think bigger picture, as long as we hold above the kind of late 2025 highs, it's kind of like we're in chop range. The 200 day is trending up, um, and it's continuing to trend up. So it's kind of it's kind of like short term, definitely short term bearish, short term Bosch, but bigger picture, definitely not. It's just
Well, we've talked a lot about the beach ball, right? Pulling the beach ball underwater, and that's what this event was back here. And yeah, we went high. And what happens when you pull the beach ball out and it finally goes high? It comes back down and hits the water and makes a ripple, right?
yeah.
And maybe that's what we're experiencing is, here was the high, right? And now we're getting some of that ripple potentially. I'm when I'm bearish, I will shout it from the mountaintop, and I would say I'm maybe slightly a few percent more bearish than I was before, but
I
that's just watching price action. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden I'm expecting, 15-point loss or 15% loss in the indexes anytime soon, but that's normal correction territory, and we should probably expect one or two of those at some point, right? So GP saying no, Nick
Dude, we
saying
like
yes. So you two work that out.
no, but my whole thing is that we already got 25% this year and another 5% with death underneath. We got 15% last year or 17% last year, I believe, on the Qs in 1 month or 3 months or whatever the time frame was. In 2023, we got 10, 12%. 2022 was 37%. Um, I don't think we're gonna get the 15% correction, right? And that's just that's me. I don't think it's anytime soon. Maybe post Feb OPEX, right? We get it, but I think
Yeah, and when I say,
generally
I just
generally
want to
flow of
clarify one
money
thing,
in
GP.
up years is one thing, right? Generally flow of money in up years tends to finish strong, right? And in down years it tends to finish weak. So just that's like whatever is going on now, for whatever reason is going on. Um, it's just something to keep in mind.
I don't want you to take my 10 to 15% correction being as like I'm expecting that any day. That would be a bearish position that I'm not currently in. What I'm saying is over the course of a year or more, you can expect a pretty good sized pullback at any point in time. At least that's what we've seen historically. So I'm not saying that that comes now or in a week from now, but I would say some point in 2026, you can expect to see a correction of some size, whether it's 10 to 15% or worse or a little bit better. That's just the way it goes. So I'm not predicting anything's going to happen in the short term or near term. I'm just saying that at some point we could expect that.
I am bearish on one thing.
Go for it.
Um, I've been increasingly been I have been becoming increasingly more bearish crypto.
Yes, of course.
Um, I don't know if it was like last week or whatever, we touched on it, and we kind of, at least in ETH Ethereum, we tried to bust out of the channel, and we did bust out of that channel, and then failed miserably at the 50-day. And now we're kind of now, we reverted back, and we're busting kind of a little like a rising trend line, and I kind of feel like, I guess when I say I'm bearish, I just think another leg is coming. I don't necessarily have a target and where I think that it's going. I think for how long price has been consolidating under the 200-day, in particular, like both Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't know. I feel like something fucking nasty is coming, and I don't know what. I don't know how that. I don't know how that necessarily plays out or what that looks like in relation to the equity markets, but
The price action has been awful since
yeah,
Stocktoberfest, since we were with each other in person, right? Like
yeah.
the price action in crypto has been awful. And I agree with you, Nick. What I'm watching is this right here. Are we going to
Yeah.
break down from that? And below that, we're back into this blue box that I've gotten drawn here. Oops. I think a new low or a new double bottom is not at all what bulls want to see. I think the chances are, if it comes back down here, anywhere in this area, the likelihood of it failing is greater than it recovering in the short term. So, Ty pointed that out in the chat earlier. Crypto's weakness seems to be leading the market, and it's good in a way because for a while there was the disassociation of how crypto looked versus the market. It was a pretty easy risk on, risk off indicator. And I feel like we lost that somewhere in 2024 into 2025.
Yeah.
So it's at least good to see that association back of maybe crypto is being a tail for what the rest of the market's doing.
Yeah.
My question to both of you is: can you find me one person who's not bearish crypto?
On crypto.
No, that's great, GP, and that's part of the reason why I'm still bullish is in essence of who I am. I'm a skeptic, right? And I don't like going along with the crowd generally. There are so many more people who are bearish, not just in crypto, but across the board. I mean, I can't pull up a chart on Stocktwits at all without seeing someone being like, the end is near. And yeah, it's been an ugly few sessions, but again, I planned for this last week, right? I planned to buy, and I have been buying.
I listened to a podcast from Sunday, and every single trader on there, there's 4 of them. Every single trader thinks 2026 is going to be a down year and a massively down year. Um, yeah, I'm like, okay. So, as I do with most of my things, people that I respect and trust in opinions, I go look back, right? At what I'm seeing in my charts and stuff, and we can have differences of opinions, right? That's bottom line. That's what makes a market. Um, and all valid concerns, right? The inability for bonds to find any kind of footing across the board, metals, constant breaking out. So, like people assume that um, metals are showing or telling a story, right, about the markets. And I don't know. I think that's just where the money is going. That's my personal opinion, and that's where things are trending. Um, and so let's say NQs or Tech and Spy finally bottom after the Japan rate decision tomorrow. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if metal sold off like hard, right? Like it's the anti-pair trade. So everyone's bearish that I can see across the board. No one wants to hold, and who can blame them with this price action, right? Ultimately,
Yeah.
you're muted, Ben.
I am. I was taking a drink. It comes back to the thing that we always have, right? GP. It's all based on your time frame. If you're trading to pay the mortgage and live life, then yeah, you can't really withstand a lot of the volatility unless you're playing the other end. Um, but personally, I like when I see everyone bearish. Um, from my experience, seeing the bearishness over a long term, um, that piled in crowded trade doesn't work out or for as long as the bullish trade, right? The bullish trade, everybody hops on and bulls get exuberant and there's tiny pullbacks and you go higher. On the bearish trade, it seems like when everybody's piled in, yeah, it might work out for a few weeks, but it's not a long-term thing in essence. I mean, we talked about 2022, right? And bears got slaughtered just as bad as some of the bulls because they would get caught on the wrong side of the trade. So I personally like when sentiment shifts and is scary. It's that wall of worry we've talked about a lot. And right now, I just don't see anything that's changing my current thesis um, from my
Yeah,
typical MO.
and take a look at what's strong today. It's
Drugs.
software. Look at
Yeah,
CRM.
ServiceNow. Look at
Yeah,
ServiceNow.
look at
What we talked
CRM.
about yesterday.
ServiceNow. Look at Team. Um, you can go across the board on a lot of the software names, like things that have been out of favor for what multiple years now, for the most part.
IGV is down slightly, but the biggest players seem to be up. So
Yeah, Nutanix, NTNX, um, and then retail names have been strong. Have you been seeing that?
I saw
Wayfair,
somebody post a target chart the other day.
Wayfair as well, and Lulu, and
Man, even Target
Nike,
looking all right today.
Nike
I
never.
kind of like that.
Yeah, Adobe, which I really like Adobe here. I know I've mentioned Adobe a few times over the past couple months, but this has been a trading level for sure. So I think there's some possibilities there on the software side of things, guys.
And that's my
Uh,
that's my point, right? Like it's rotation to the names that you don't own for the most part, right? Um, like if we were like, why would software, which AI is supposed to crush, be all of a sudden be sudden like it's been strong for a couple weeks now, right? Like look at Adobe, that's 3 green weeks while the market is dying, right?
yep.
So this is until I stop seeing rotation, until I start seeing absolute death across the board, it's really hard for me to be really uber bearish. And you see the rotation that's happening. Obviously, we talked about the mega caps, Amazon, Netflix, Microsoft, Meta today, all green, have been predominantly green over the last couple of weeks. And then you
I think,
have software names and and retail names that have been absolutely mauled over the last 3 to 4 years. Right, Target it's been out of favor longer than we've been alive. Like, it's crazy.
Look at Dollar General. We talked about Dollar
Yep.
General a week or two ago. Look at Dollar General.
Yep. And like even Oracle, I think, is bottomed. Right, it filled the gap and stuff like that. So this is, we talked about this on yesterday's show, right? Within the chip space, there has been nasty corrections continuously since Nvidia announced that their revenue was going from 6 billion to 11 billion quarter over quarter, and then came in and had a $13 billion revenue instead. So they beat their own guide up higher by 2 billion. Ever since that moment happened, there has been nasty rotations in the chip space. It continues to be the case across the board. We saw 2024 be really, really, really unkind to AMD, to Dell, to so many different chip names, while Nvidia kept its strength. And Nvidia finally died into April or March, April, and the other chip names started to behave better, right? It's just, it's all rotation is what I see across the board. And until that happens, until it's a wet blanket across all assets, it's hard.
Wet blankies for everybody. We were asking the chat about Oracle. I drew some quick levels here on Oracle. I like it right here. If I were interested in a trade,
Yeah.
Nick, I don't know about you. What's your thoughts on Oracle?
I was gonna say the same thing. I posted both the weekly and the daily to that guy on Stocktwits. I think if you're not involved, or this is certainly a spot that you could at least attempt to catch the knife. Although you're sitting on kind of a floor here, so if weakness does hit the market overall, I would expect this thing to flush even harder. I don't
I would
particularly
probably put it down at that 150 level as the next leg if it were to continue to flush, or
Yeah.
like 145-ish.
I
And
don't.
it's broken, right? The level that we talked about in yesterday's show, which was 180, 160, it broke like straight through, didn't hold for even 15 minutes. So
I don't like how price is below. It's tough for me to get unless there's a larger build out, like a larger bottoming pattern or build out. It's hard for me to want to get involved in names kind of under the 200-day, especially as all the 50, the 10, and the 20 are all kind of trending down now. I love it. Like, I'll get involved under the 200-day, but like I like it when it's something like a kind of an inverse head and shoulders where the 200-day kind of acts like the neckline, or something like that, where it's just a larger time frame pattern versus just buying versus a level like this. Because you could see, even if let's say it does hold here, you could easily see price kind of bounce between here and 210, 200, and kind of flutter around before ultimately either heading higher or heading lower. I was kind of thinking about like this idea of like bearish and Bosch. I think it's the way that the price action has been. It's tough to have like a lot of conviction in really kind of either direction. I think that's kind of the role of these ranges. It's like it just kind of. I mean, we touched on it a little bit yesterday. Preserving mental capital.
Yeah,
it's like
it's
that's
huge.
What these ranges do. They destroy us.
And AMD is starting to break down here.
Yeah.
Important earnings tonight.
Right?
It is an inverse cup and handle, I would say. I think that's pretty clear. Yeah. Big earnings after the bell in the semiconductor space. Micron is reporting. We touched on it a little bit yesterday on the show. But do you guys see Micron as a potential savior of what's going on for chips? Or do you think that
When has
I-
Micron ever been a savior?
Hey,
For anything,
if you had asked me back here on this chart somewhere, anywhere back in here, if I thought Micron was going to be a $200 stock, I probably would have laughed at you.
Sure.
So I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I'm saying could it be, because all of a sudden it is a leader in the semi space.
I think it could act as kind of a maybe a capitulatory type savior where, let's say they smoke it and price opens at 200 and just rallies all day, and that's kind of the overall market action we get on the sheep Thursdays or whatever you want to call Thursdays. I think maybe something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be kind of the fifth touch within this range. It would look kind of pretty if that's how it played out. But if it I don't know, let's say they gapped it up to 250 or something, I don't think it would be enough to necessarily turn the market. But I don't know.
Well, we've seen, these 3 weekly wicks, right? And this week's bar got up into those levels, and now it's reverted the other way. I'm not saying that it goes higher or saves the market or not. That's why I'm asking you guys. GP, do you have a strong opinion on MU?
MU has been probably one of the worst earnings traders on the planet.
It's been really bad for a
they
very long time.
It's awful, right? Oh wow, they doubled their revenue. They are returning $1 billion to every person who owns this share, and it still gaps down 20%. It's a ridiculous name when it comes to earnings. So I will not make any predictions besides it's going to be ridiculous again, in any direction that it is. Right now, it's breaking lows. It is 5 straight days down. We just lost the SPX 6738 level.
The sky is falling.
And Tesla is breaking down here. Microsoft is holding up, but if we start to see a lot of these names start to go red today, I think you have kind of a better indication of stuff. Tesla is down more today than it was up yesterday.
Yeah. It's losing that.
It is
that pivot. Yeah.
This has been the behavior in Tesla for months and months and months now, right? It grinds and destroys you on the way up, and then just destroys itself on the way down. So,
what happens to? I just posted this in the chat. What happened to not bullish enough? We only knew ye for a little season, not bullish enough.
I am still probably in that camp, but the price action is telling us, right?
I'm not arguing with you.
You got to respect some of the stuff that's going on, which is you're probably not bullish enough the right names. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, Tesla just took
it's rough out here in these streets. I love it. It's the night is the darkest before the dawn. You don't know how many times I've used that in my life.
We say that every Wednesday now. Literally every Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday thing. It's a Wednesday
Literally
thing.
every Wednesday.
That's the new show name. It's the new show now. We're going to stick with Community Rip Live.
Look, NVIDIA has not made a new low today. Oracle has not made a new low today. Google has not made a new low today. The rest of the market is starting to make new lows, aka Tesla and other names. How is Rivian green? Someone explain this to me. How is Rivian
because green? It's your 2026 stock pick.
Yeah. So it's not all death out there. A name like Rivian would have been destroyed in almost every other scenario.
Hey, speaking of our 2026 stock picks, we're going to do that on the New Year's Eve show, because next week we will have a Christmas Eve show, as far as I know. Keith or Ryan can let me know if I'm wrong on that. But we will announce some picks that we like on that show. And I think we should have some fun next week as we enter Christmas Eve and then on New Year's Eve consecutively. So we'll if the chat, if you have any ideas on what we should do to celebrate on either of those Eve shows, hit us up. Let us know what's going on, what you'd like to see us do. I think
I got my pick already.
I want to send the guys some Santa hats. We'll see if we can get some bows maybe for Nick's beard. We'll just have some fun.
Yeah. Oh, it's not
Ryan. And I like your reply there, Nick. Sex. Well, so he asked, "What will be the ticker for SpaceX?" That you're probably right, Nick. That's.
I mean,
right
knowing
up Elon's
Elon,
alley.
like he's gonna go for something ridiculous.
Ooh, felon. So I think one thing that's interesting talking about SpaceX, we anticipate that being brought to the public markets at some point, probably in 2026. GP, was it you that was saying that maybe that would be a direct listing?
No,
that you wouldn't be surprised. I thought I saw someone say that, and I thought it was you. I'm sorry if I gave you credit for that. If you did not say that,
Elon knows the game better than anyone else. If he does direct listing, he knows his stock is going to suffer, and he will not.
But he would get more up front. He would get more up front, right?
Yeah, but you gotta do the IPO roadshow. You gotta be you gotta be on the strings for all the puppeteers. It's just how it goes.
Well, when you're the richest person in the world, would you rather have dollars today or dollars in the future? Both, I guess, is the answer to that. So never mind.
I guess. Well, based on today, we're not going to have any dollars left in our pockets at all.
Yeah, it's all going to be something else. Ether, not Ethereum, but it's going to be dust in the wind. Hey guys, chat, throw some charts, throw some lots of IPOs expected in 2026. And typically when we see lots of IPOs, that tends to be a drain on the market. And the money has to come out of somewhere to go into these names. And Anduril, SpaceX, maybe even ChatGPT, right? I think no, well, ChatGPT wouldn't be it. OpenAI would be the IPO, but there's some pretty big names.
I blame Sam Altman for all of
Discord, potential name out there. Who else?
Why would anyone
Anthropic. I mean,
I don't even know why anyone would buy a SpaceX IPO. Like
people gotta have
trillion. Get out of here.
I mean, people have to have their Discords to sell their services. So I mean,
to shill SpaceX.
Well, I'm just
there's no reason to be bought. That is a VC liquidation strategy at its finest.
Za says, look at ADP. ADP is bouncing.
But we're going to have no jobs left. How is this going to work?
See, now this is why everybody's saying, why are you so bearish talking like that, GP?
Because everything's going to be super cheap.
Well, nobody's got money to spend, so that's why it's super cheap, right?
I kind of like the... I think
266, 267-ish.
Yeah, ADP is kind of an example of like a setup underneath the 200-day where I wouldn't be opposed to trying it. Because you have basically a defined downtrend beginning back in June. And then you had the gap down, and now it's kind of the potential for kind of like building out an island here. I probably wouldn't be getting involved at 266. I guess maybe if it what I would prefer to see is price kind of climb up to like 270, go sideways a little bit, and put in kind of a little handle there.
Yeah.
And then kind of gap it and put in kind of an island. That would also be reclaiming that like kind of pivot low back in April. So
yeah, I said 266 because here on the weekly. The 9 moving average is sitting there at 265 and some change. And then when I flip over to the daily, I mean, obviously you've got this 50-day that it's run into as resistance. So above that would be 267, right? So
yeah,
like you say, Nick, sometimes you can put a cheater on,
yeah,
anticipating something. Anyway, 266, 267.
NSC.
ICE. Hey, VPA. Thanks for joining. ICE. Intercontinental Exchange. Hey, GP, how's the banks doing? How's the regionals doing? They're still, I mean, they're not dying like everything else.
It doesn't make any sense to me on the IWM. It's selling off, but XLF was green until like 3 seconds ago. XLE is green, KRE is green, XBI is now red, but it was green all day. So yeah, there's other names in the IWM selling off. Regionals are still holding green, 67, right? We talked about this around 58 to 60, and it's had a decent bounce.
For me on ICE, I would want to see it take out last week's high. Not the close, but last week's high. I think you can get some of this action that might lead to that, which I don't want to see. But you've got the 9 weekly right now as some support, but it's sandwiched in between those. And ideally, what I like to see is this crossover, right? Like that kind of. So I would want to see it take out last week's high, which would be roughly 164.40, 164.37. So I just call it 165 and call it a day if it were me.
I hope our bearishness on this episode literally bottom ticks the fucking market.
Well, because we're good at top ticking.
I know. Let's say the Qs are officially reaching oversold, at least on the daily.
Nick, are you in the sorry, Nick, are you in the monkey camp of mRNA as your pick? Maybe your pick for next year? I just saw you put that in the chat.
Yeah, I'm thinking potentially. And so
it's got a nice formed bottom there, and it's right now in the gap that it failed out of previously. So I think if you can close that gap and get to like 32, what is that? Yeah, like 32 and above, I like it.
Yeah, I think it's going back to 150. And the reason I say that is that I've posted the chart a few times on Stocktwits. It's got a descending wedge built out on the daily, or I'm sorry, on the weekly. Looks very similar to kind of the structure from like 2022, kind of bottoming out, going sideways. It's built out a stage 1 base, throughout essentially like 2020, the entire year. It put in a lot of tight closes between March and July, and then again kind of recently between October and November, kind of towards the low end of the range. And where price is kind of creeping now, we've got the 10-week curling through the 40. And I think if we don't bust out of this range, then I'm effed. Like I'll take the L on the 2026 pick, but
it looks pretty constructive, Nick. I'm not gonna lie. GP, do you like it? What do you think?
What?
mRNA, Moderna.
No.
It says no with the quickness.
Yeah,
it's a stage 1 base, Nick. Like I don't want to deal with this, right? Like
I would be a lot more. I would have more conviction if we were making this pick and price was getting to bust out of the stage 1 base. So I definitely feel you there. I'm just kind of like, if we're going to go for a pick, like I got to go for the win. I'm going to pick something that, I don't know. I think
I'm not mad at you, brother.
Yeah, no, that's fine if you're making the pick. But would I put real money to this? No.
MBG is like, I mean, he's mega bulled up on it.
Yeah, Monkey's fired up.
Fine, dude. Like,
I know.
It's okay to be mega bulled up on stuff, but like if you can get traction in these markets here, right across the board, they sell all assets.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Tesla's about to put in a bearish engulfing, by the way.
Bruh.
Yeah, it sure is.
Look at that weekly. Look at that weekly. Yep.
Same week, same December OPEX week. They can't like. If this goes back to 214, I'm gonna sell everything I own, and I'm gonna go become a Buddhist monk. I'm just done.
Hey, it's do what you feel, brother.
There will be. I will say goodbye to the podcast. I will be done. I'm going on a retreat, a silent retreat for the next 50 years.
I don't
50?
think. I think there's a chance we could get Tesla, like, I don't know, maybe 380, 400. I don't think it's going any lower.
50 years though, GP 50.
If I live 50, that will put me in 94. So probably not.
I mean, I would just start with maybe 5 or 15. I would.
No, I'm just done. I'm done with this. Like, just this behavior overall. Like,
One day I'm walking away. I'm just gonna be like, one day. I'm
God,
still
that
grinding.
Bros looks really good.
Bros,
you want to pick
little
Nick,
Dutch
you wanna pick for
Bros.
next year?
It's like a massive cup and handle on the weekly.
Yeah, tell us your pick for next year, GP. You already said Rivian, but give us another.
Open.
Oh,
Door.
you motherfucker! All right, sorry.
Yeah, I can see why you say that. We
I don't know,
went
you
over
got-
this
or
previously.
out of left field next door. NXDR.
I can't tell you the last time I looked at this one.
Yeah, me neither.
Look at the quarter.
I'm going to surprise everyone with my 2026 pick, but I'm not giving it away today.
Look at the quarter.
ASTS.
Look at the quarter. Look at the quarter.
Oh, look at the quarter of next door.
Yeah.
Look at the quarter. He says, look at the quarter. It's doji looking. Not quite. That's huge accumulation, though. Very nice. Very nice. Hey, we're running out of time. We got 2 minutes. Is there any other charts from the chat that we want to take a look at?
Ooh,
How
INTA
about...
looks great.
All right, INTA it is.
Yeah. I kind of like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, I like it above the 50 weekly, but yeah, it looks good. We're taking the dailies, working on the weeklies, working on the monthlies. Yeah, here's the monthly moving averages. I would definitely wait till 46.60. That would be my trigger if I were trading it. All right, 90 seconds. GP, please hit us with your last word.
I got nothing, man.
I got nothing, man. Nicholas?
Gosh,
I just
GP,
come up with something. Pull something. I don't like the I got nothing, man. I realize you're frustrated and beaten up, but you gotta have something for us.
Pretty exhausted, right? Like it's it's the end of the year. It's been a wild ride. We can't I'll go back to it's the holidays. Love who you have, love who you can, love yourself. And if you're not having a great year, this is not the time to make it all up. Wait till the new year starts. Wait till the week after January, where January 1st week, you'll get a bit more direction and take this time to regroup, refocus, and come back next year.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Nicholas? I was going to kind of point to the same thing. Like, everyone kind of has their opinions about sub services and, whatnot. I think that if it's an education thing, I think sub services are great because it provides an opportunity to learn about technical analysis, setups, building out your tool belt. As you progress and are heading down this path, this investment trader path, I think at a certain point you need to start working with like some form of, whether it's a therapist, psychologist, performance coach, someone that can help you point out your blind spots, someone that can help hold you accountable. It doesn't really matter how long you've been in the game. We always have something to learn, and that the path of learning and our own evolution, like, it never ends. So these time periods where they are incredibly frustrating, whether it being a chop range, bear market, or you end up fighting a trend, even if you're fighting the wall of worry, you'll never regret investing in yourself. And I think that kind of heading into the end of the year, it's you see it all the time, but it is a fantastic time to reflect on your year and, you know, how you want to move forward. So invest in yourself, reach out,
Very good.
find a group, find a group of traders that are in a similar camp as you to kind of shoot the shit and discuss things. It doesn't always necessarily mean like hiring someone, but if you can find a group of friends or a group of traders that can call you out on your bullshit without, yeah, I don't know, you know,
Like we do
is,
each other. We call each other out on our bullshit all the time. But our major announcement is we're moving to 1 o'clock on Wednesday. So you'll see the community rip live right here every Wednesday on Stocktwits at 1 p.m. Eastern. But the other announcement is I got a new job. I'm working at the bakery because I need that dough. See you next week.